Hi there, Beech class. The next math skill that we're going to work on this week is to use pictograms to represent data. Okay, so we've already looked at how to use tally charts. We're now going to look at a different way to represent data, pictograms. Here we've got a partially completed pictogram. And you can see that in many ways it's very similar to the tally chart that we created. The only difference is, rather than a tally here, we've got pictures. We've still got a total over here. Okay. So we've got a total in this column, but rather than a tally, we've got pictures here. So in this pictogram, each picture of a person represents one pupil. Okay? And then my data altogether explains how many pupils there are in each class. So your first job in this activity is to fill in the missing spaces. So I've got a missing space there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and there. So I've got quite a lot of work to do just to complete and finish the pictogram. Okay? For this, my first step then, I suppose, is to work out what the total number of children are in class 1. So to do that, I can just simply count up all the little pictures of people. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Really, the only way of making an error there is just through inaccurate counting. And that's something that I know all my Beech class children can do no problem. So in class 1, there's 13 children. Let's try again. In class 2, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 children in class 2. Okay. Hang on a minute though. This space is missing here. Okay. So I need to somehow show that there's 16 children in class 3. The way I can do that is by dragging down 16 little pictures of a person. The way you can do it at home is to accurately cut out 16 people and stick them there. Okay? You can then repeat that process until you've completed your chart, your pictogram. Now, I've put in a few different types of pictogram here. In my first pictogram, you can see that each person represented one pupil, but that's not always how pictogram works. In this pictogram, the picture actually represents not one goal, but 2 goals. So each football represents 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. But I wonder, what does this half a football represent? Well, in this instance, it represents half of 2 goals. So half of 2 goals is 1. So I can find the total number of goals that Sam scored by count up in 2s and a 1. Let me give it a go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 1 more makes 11. So I know that Sam scored 11 goals. So down here, Anna scored 2 and a 1. So I know that Anna scored 3 goals. Now up here, if I wanted to work out how many goals, say, Mark scored 5 goals. So I could count out in 2s. 2, 4, 6. Uh-oh. He definitely haven't scored 6 goals. He scored 5. So I'm going to put that one back. 2, 4, up. And 1 more makes 5. Okay. So when completing this part of the activity, you can cut and stick the footballs to complete and write numbers in the total places. If you need to put down 1 goal rather than 2 goals, you can cut one of the footballs in half, like I did here. Okay. So on this pictogram, 1 person meant 1 pupil. On this pictogram, 1 football meant 2 goals. On this pictogram, each picture of a book, represents 5 books. Okay, to show how many books there are in each class. Okay, so in class 1, we could use our counting and 5 skills. 5, 10, 15. Easy peasy. And we can just work the other way in order to create, say, 30 to show that class 5, sorry, it says player, it's meant to say class, I do apologise. Class 5 has 30, I can count up in 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay? So you can do this by cutting and sticking books at home and writing the numbers in the missing places in the total section. Okay? Just keep a really close eye on the little key at the top of the pictogram, which says how much each picture is worth. Okay? Because we've seen in the first one, each picture is worth 1 item. In this one, each picture is worth 2 items. In this one, each picture is worth 5 items. In our final one, each picture is worth 10 items. In this instance, each picture of a cake is worth actually 10 cakes. So we need to consider when how many cakes in the bakery, how many chocolate cakes. It says over here there's 60. So I do not need to pull out 60 pictures of cakes because each cake represents a 10 cakes. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Okay. Hang on a minute. This is a bit interesting. Half a cake. So if a whole picture of a cake represents 10, then a half must be half of 10. Half of 10 is 5. Aha! So that must mean half a cake must mean 5. Let me count in tens. 10, 20, 30, and a 5. So there must be 35 strawberry cakes. Okay. I want you to use this technique when solving these 4 separate pictogram challenges. Okay. If you complete all these challenges and you're starting to get really confident on how to create and use pictograms, why not have a go at some of these extension questions? Now, the extension questions will ask you to interpret pictograms. That means understand and read them. It will also ask you to find the difference. Okay, let me show you what I mean. I have completed this pictogram for you, so you don't need to do that bit again. But I then put 1, 2, 3, find the different challenges to go with each one. So in this one, I'm not going to go through all of them, but let's have a look at this third find the difference challenge. It says, what is the difference between the number of children in class 1 and class 3? Okay, let's have a little look. In class 1, we've got 13 children, and in class 3, we've got 16 children. So our challenge is to find the difference between 13 and 16. So I'm going to draw a number line. Get rid of that ruler. Oh, dearie me. Right, there you go. I'm going to find the difference between 13 and 16. Now, if I was being a little bit inefficient, I suppose I could put 13 in my head and then count on using my fingers 14, 15, 16. And because I've got 3 fingers showing up, I know the difference between them is 3. But if I was being a little bit more efficient, I could probably spot the difference between a 3 and a 6 is 3, because I know that 3 and 3 make 6. That's how I'm using my number bonds to be a little bit more efficient. Either way, I'm going to get the same answer. I'm going to know that the difference between class 1 and class 3 is 3. I'm going to know that there's 3 more children in class 3. I'm going to know that there's 3 less children in class 1. Have a look at the next one. What is the difference between the number of goals scored by Mark and by Sam? Interesting. Let's have a little look. Let's get a highlighter. Just a minute. Difference between Mark and Sam. So Mark is here and Sam is up here. The difference between 5 and 11. Okay, a little bit more challenging because we're going over a tens barrier. But that's okay. Don't need to panic. And we can use some of the skills that we learned in our fluency last week to help us. We can use that bridging through 10 skill to help find the difference this time. Excellent. Okay, so we're finding the difference between 5 and 11. Okay. So like I said, rather than try and jump all the way to 11 to find the difference, I'm going to bridge to 10. So I'm going to find it in 2 steps. That's going to help me out because I'm really good at my number bonds to 10. So I just need to find out, in order to get from 5 to 10, I added on 5. In order to get from 10 to 11, I added on 1. So all together, the difference between 5 and 11 is a jump of 5 and a jump of 1. So all together, that's a, come on computer. Oh, that's going to look like a funny line in a moment. Oh, dearie me. Okay, that's going to be a difference of 6. So Sam scored 6 more goals than Mark. Mark scored 6 fewer goals than Sam. The difference between the goals they scored was 6. Let's look at one more example before we finish. Okay. It says here, how many less books are there in class 4 than 3? Now, it doesn't actually say to find the difference here, but because it's got that vocabulary, less books, more books, those are all giving us a clue that this is a find the difference problem. Okay, so I think I'm going to get my highlighter pen out first. I'm going to highlight the books in class 4, 25 books, and in class 3 is 35. So I'm looking for the difference between 25 and 35. So draw my number line, get rid of my ruler. Again, get rid of my ruler. The difference between 25 and 35. Now, if I was being a little bit inefficient, I could put 25 in my head and count on until I get to 35. But actually, I can see a shortcut here because I can see that the ones number is the same, 25 and 35. So I know I just must be adding on a multiple of 10. 25, add one more 10, take me to 35. It's a good shortcut, Mr. McKinnon. So the difference between 25 and 35 is 10. Okay? So that means that there are 10 less books in class 4 than class 3, and 10 more books in class 3 than class 4. Okay. Give this a go, guys. If you're looking for an extra challenge, why not interpret these pictograms, but then also use your knowledge and your skills of finding the difference to work out these problems. Okay. Good luck.